of the Sierra 2 Airsoft Show.
I'm Ryder.
This is Fox.
And we're doing our first of a series of reviews to give you a honest user's perspective of the, in this case, G&P MK23 AEG. So with no further ado, let's get to the unboxing. As you can tell, it's relatively short-barreled compared to like a 249 or an M60 Vietnam style, which you can see why the SEALs would have loved it. It comes with a red flash hider.
A little different.
Yeah, a little bit different, but it gets the point across. In here, we have the black flash hider.
Oh, that's convenient.
And we have a combination of bracket and 1200 round box mag. This would have been equivalent to like the 100 or 150 rounder. Because I've seen pictures of it with a round drum on it on the bottom.
Oh.
Box mag is a 1200 round box mag, and I like it because it's got this piece that you actually have to open up the feed tray cover in order to put it on. You can leave it on or take it off, whatever. And the bracket here, which actually fits onto the bottom of the gun. And the way you can actually change the box mag out relatively quickly by opening that bracket, sliding it out, putting a new one in, and shutting it. At $120 a piece for these box mags. They're fairly expensive, but the ease and all that of using them is not all terrible difficult to justify one extra in case your one goes down. 9 volt battery goes in there. I kind of like the A and K option of it leaches off of the main battery, so you only have to carry one battery, but this works out pretty decent too. And there's the BB reservoir, 1200 rounds of pure fun. Then to put the thing back on, shut this, and to put the box mag onto the gun, there's a little peg right in there. Put the back end in, and then this front end will clip in. You hear it click, it's secure. Finish the installation, pull toward the muzzle on this, feed tray cover up. If you're having a little bit of problems with this, open this piece. And then you pull this latch forward, and you're golden.
Lock and load.
Mm-hmm. problem getting the point target. The area target is also getting peppered.
gotta
It's got a pretty good beat clip going.
Starting to open up a little.
But I'm still not having a terrible problem. Somebody standing out in the open, I'm going to hit him.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the 60.
It's starting to open up, but you're still gonna hit anybody there.
Yep. This is about where your area target's going to be. So out to 50 yards, let's pull her back to the 200.
Yeah.
Let's see. How bad's the damage? It's empty.
Nice.
So she's got a pretty good rate of fire. She got a pretty good rate of fire. She was dropping them, looked like 10 feet in front. So I'm thinking max on an area target's going to be about 190 feet. This last test we were shooting at 200 feet, and I wanted to see how fast it would go through them. Motor's a little, motor grip's a little warm, but what do you expect? I took this thing out of the box, threw batteries and BBs in it, set the hop, and let her rip.
Utilize your mounting, guys.
Alright, so I've been behind this gun for about 6 or 7 hours and I'm pretty impressed, but before I give my opinion, Raider, why don't you tell me about this gun? There's pretty fascinating history behind this.
This one was originally developed for the SEALs during Vietnam. It was designed actually as a fully modular system, meaning you could take the barrel out, the longer barrel in or shorter barrel, you could take the stock off, you could turn it into a rifle, or it even had this setup, and it also had a setup so you put a tripod on it. Put it on a tripod as a medium machine gun. It was ultimately not adopted by the SEALs due to a couple of mishaps due to worn parts and the scarcity of linked 5.56 ammo, but it kind of paved, I guess you could say it's the granddaddy of the saw, so it deserves some respect for that much.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can imagine it wouldn't have much, length ammunition back then. It's got a pretty cool history for it. It's a Stoner 63A, Mark 23. What I absolutely love most about it is probably the short barrel. I'm a G36C user. This is something I can get in real tight with, real close, good for clearing rooms. Good for, I'm used to running and gunning. This suits me. The only thing I would do to it is add a single point sling on it, as you saw in the photographs. The only time that was useful is if I took an arm off and let it dangle down here. When I ran my SPR, it was just set up like this. I had all the weight on my shoulders. That's the only thing I would do. And this is still a pretty light gun. It's probably around 8 pounds. That's still a couple pounds less than a real steel AK. Probably considerably less weight than the real thing. But it's still heavy enough that it's going to slow you down a little bit, which as a machine gunner you should have a little bit of weight to lug around. At 1,200 rounds, not a ton for a machine gun, but for what it is, something you're going to run and gun with, and the fact that it has a V2 gearbox, that's not a bad setup.
I like this gun mostly because of a couple of reasons. One, parts are relatively easy to get a hold of. It's not quite as long and encumbering as the 249s you see all the time, and on top of it, it's a very historical weapon. The stock back here could potentially break if you're a little too rough on it. So that's something, and G&P parts can be kind of difficult to get a hold of, especially their externals.
Yeah.
At times, and the drum mag can be potentially off-putting because of the cost. You can pick up a drum mag for $249 for $80 to $100. This is $120 for one of these. So it could potentially be off-putting to somebody just getting into the machine gun game, but I like the fact that you can select between semi and full auto. Drum mag here is shorter compared to the 249 para stock capacity of 2,500 rounds. So it is lighter, it allows you to move, it allows you to be lighter and run a little more unencumbered.
Imagine diving prone would be a little easier.
Yeah.
Plus, indoors, this is still shorter than an M16. I ran an SPR, it's shorter than that. You're still not going to have maneuverability problems.
Now, Fox, did you run across any teething problems with it?
Oh yeah, typical V2 stuff. You probably saw in the video. I was striking it about right here with the palm of my hand. What happened was, and this happened with my G&P M4, the trigger connectors would get stuck. I thought that's what was happening. What happened about 3 times that day, the trigger got stuck back, and it was while I was shooting at somebody, so that was an issue. And the other thing is, I thought semi-auto, I thought semi was safe, because when I switched it over to semi, it didn't work. The trigger locked up. About 4 hours later, finally started working in semi. At that point, I didn't even need it. I already had a pistol on me, and I much prefer that indoors. I would just set the gun down sometimes. But those were the only major issues I had.
Yeah. A lot of the problems he had could have been due to just it was a new gun. Like I said, I ordered this thing. We put BBs, batteries, and just set the hop and let it rip.
Oh, yeah.
So it could be teething it could be initial problems. The trigger sticking could have been just finished with starting to wear off inside the body, but not in the gearbox.
It's pretty watertight. I wouldn't put it underwater, but it survived a deluge, which is like standing under a waterfall. It's pretty tough, and the finish, considering all the thorns, I mean, one of the only scratches I've really noticed, besides just wear, is I somehow scratched the stainless, but stainless looks cool when it gets scratched.
Yeah, I'll give it that. Well, this concludes our review on the G&P MK23 AEG, aka the Stoner 63A1. Till the next video, I'm Raider.
This is Fox.
And we're shooting the deuces. Y'all
See you
stay
next-
safe out there.
See you next time, guys.